Hi, my name is Aden Holloway, and you're watching Crimson Drive by NASCAR.
The mix of salty sea air and burnt rubber. The big skies, high banks, and grandstands. The rumble in your chest. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. Honoring history and making it. At the biggest race of the year on the biggest stage of a lifetime. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. You gotta see it to believe it. Secure your experience now at Daytona500.com.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Tuesday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Great to be with you in our podcast studio at the LLH Healthcare Advantage Center at Saban Field, Bryant-Denny Stadium. We've been very busy in this room over the last few weeks getting some great interviews for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, including for today's show. We'll take a look at what's coming up on the show, plus our headlines thanks to our friends RJ Young. RJ Young is the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. Let's see what's coming up on the show this Tuesday afternoon. Well, first things first, we'll visit with Aden Holloway, the Crimson Tide men's basketball team. I'll learn more about his second season at Alabama, and he also goes in detail about the decision just over a year ago, making the transition from Auburn to Alabama. So we'll get more on that from Aden Holloway. Then we'll take a look back to last week's edition of Hey Coach and the Nate Oats Show with our Hey Coach replay. First of all, Patrick Murphy, get his thoughts on the softball season that will be starting later this week in Atlanta. So we'll get to hear from the head coach of the Crimson Tide softball team, Patrick Murphy. Then we'll replay last night's Hey Coach appearance from Nate Oats as he talks about the Florida loss for Alabama and what's coming up on Wednesday night for Alabama against Texas A&M. Going to men's basketball, it was a ABC showcase of SEC basketball on Sunday. The Florida Gators against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama ultimately falling in that game. 100-77 was the final score. Now the Crimson Tide will try and bounce back on Wednesday night, but got to do so against one of the best teams in the SEC so far this season in conference play, Texas A&M. Only one loss for the Aggies so far this year, so it's going to be quite a matchup coming up in Tuscaloosa. 6 p.m. will be the tip-off. Our radio coverage will start at 5 coming up on Wednesday. Crimson Tide, with that loss to Florida, now stand at 4-4 in the SEC, 14-7 overall, and Alabama has dropped out of the AP Top 25 poll for the first time this season. The last time that Alabama spent any long time unranked, you have to go back to the 23-24 season. That ended up pretty well with Crimson Tide going to the Final Four. So hopefully Alabama can start to catch fire coming up. I mentioned the A&M game on Wednesday. Don't forget as well, on Saturday, Alabama will be against the Auburn Tigers down on the Plains. We look forward to a huge week of Alabama basketball coming up on the men's side. On the women's side, last Thursday, picked up a great win on the road at number 23 Georgia. 68-53 was the final score, a top 25 road win for Alabama. Then the Crimson Tide on Sunday went to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and unfortunately fell to LSU. 103-63 was the final score in a game where Alabama did a lot of nice things, especially offensively, but it was a good day for the Lady Tigers shooting the basketball, scoring over 100 points against Alabama in the win. For the Crimson Tide, Alabama still one win away from 20 wins, and if Alabama picks up a win against Ole Miss coming up on Thursday, it's still the fastest that Alabama's ever gotten to the 20-win plateau. That Thursday night tip-off at Coleman Coliseum will be a little later than normal at 8 p.m. In regards to television, so a 7:45 airtime for us coming up for Alabama against Ole Miss. Don't forget the basketball booth cam presented by NASCAR, streaming live for that game and the men's game against Texas A&M right here on all of our CTSN social media platforms. Some other notes around Crimson Tide athletics. For the gymnastics team, it was a lot of fun to be inside Coleman Coliseum on Friday as Alabama Gymnastics posted a great score, the highest we've seen this season on the floor routine for Alabama, getting that win against number 22 Oregon State. And later on this week, they'll be taking on the Oklahoma Sooners in Norman, and what's going to be a great Friday night showdown between Alabama and Oklahoma. Softball, again, the season beginning this Friday with a tournament, Thursday, beginning this Thursday with a tournament in Atlanta. We'll have more on that when we look at our upcoming schedule. And then baseball, we're still over a week away from the start of the season, but don't forget Fan Day is coming up at Sewell Thomas Stadium on Saturday. More details available at rolltide.com. And coming up here on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, again, in this studio, we record great interviews with Crimson Tide student athletes about who they are as people and their journey to Alabama. And this week's guest on this Tuesday show is this Aden Holloway interview that we recorded just over a week ago, getting to visit with Aden Holloway about everything that's been going on with Crimson Tide basketball, not just this season, but for him growing up, falling in love with the sport of basketball, making his way to Auburn University for a year, and then finding a home here in Tuscaloosa. Aden Holloway details all of it next here on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Welcome back to Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. We're inside the LLH Healthcare Advantage Center in our podcast studio. Roger Hoover, now pleased to be joined by Alabama basketball's Aden Holloway as we're getting near the end of January. Aden, Roll Tide, how are you enjoying this season for you and the Crimson Tide?
Roll Tide, man. Season's been a great one so far. Well, not a great one, a good one. I feel like we can play a lot better to close out, but it's been a great season with my brothers, just going on this journey with them. This has been a great day-to-day process.
It has been a process for this group. Has it been tough to kind of get the natural rhythm like you guys would have with all the injuries that have popped up? Even you've missed some time this year.
Yeah, it's been tough for sure, but I think with this group of guys, they've made it easier on each other, just getting them back in the fold when they're out, filling them in on stuff they should be paying attention to, stuff they might be missing off the court. So I feel like, and we got a lot of room to grow in that part, but I feel like this group has so many good guys that they've just been doing a good job of keeping everybody filled in.
Yeah, do you feel like it shows how strong the depth is, the fact that you guys have had so many different starting lineups or players out for different games and you've still played at a high level?
For sure, definitely. Like if one of the guards is out, we got 4 high talent guards that can fill in right after. If another guard get out, you know what I'm saying, we got 4 other high talent, you know what I'm saying? So we good. So I think the depth is crazy on this team for sure.
It's been great to see, and of course it was tough when you were out at times with the wrist injury. Just how much has that nagged you throughout the season? How painful has it been to play through at times?
Really since the first game of the season, that was probably the worst that I've had to deal with pain inside of the game. But Clark's been doing a great job just staying on me about treatment, even when it's starting to feel a little bit better. It's not really an injury that it goes away at all. So he's been on me just every day, consistency. So it's been a little tough dealing with it, but shout out to my trainers, coaches. They've been keeping me good. So
how good a job does Clark do with you guys? I mean, he's been busy this year with what's popped up, but I mean, the way he keeps you all positive through all this.
Man, I don't know how he does what he does. He got 20 people to take care of, 30, 40 people to take care of. So even the coaches, he take care of them. So, man, I can't even really put into words. He putting in work every day. Really appreciate him so much for sure.
He works hand in hand with Henry on the strength side and then Amanda on the nutrition as well. I mean, all those people, all those resources getting you guys good to go has to feel good.
For sure. Most definitely.
Well, again, it's been a fun year for the Crimson Tide. We've seen some great victories, especially on the road and some NBA-style arenas. Madison Square Garden beating St. John's, beating Illinois at the United Center. How much do you enjoy playing in those atmospheres?
I love those games. Just like you said, the atmosphere. It makes you wanna. It gets your adrenaline pumping a little higher. I love playing in front of. Actually, I like all settings of basketball. I like playing in front of the crowd at Coleman. I like the opposing crowd when we go to road games in the SEC play. But those environments do kind of get you up a little more, just knowing that you're playing where a lot of legends played. And so I feel like that definitely gets your adrenaline pumping a little bit more, for sure.
Well, that's where you ultimately hope to be in the NBA one day. Looking at this team as well, how much fun is it to play alongside LeBaron Feinlein?
Super fun, man. Must-see TV. Super talented. Super talented, man. Great teammate. That's my boy. I mean, it kind of self-explanatory. You know what I'm saying? He put in work, so you see it.
Yeah, we really do. We've seen your assist numbers go up, feeding him the basketball, and then he does the same thing for you. Is it great to just kind of have that kind of synergy between the two of you?
Definitely. He definitely makes it easier on me, just the gravity he has on the court, how many defensive players he attracts, defensive schemes that he makes other teams have to scheme up for him, so that frees up everybody else. And you know what I'm saying? He just makes it a lot easier for sure.
Well, we can get a few more individual players on this roster. How about Amari Allen and the start he's had to his Alabama career?
Man, I kind of knew. I wasn't surprised at all by the way he's playing. Just seeing his mentality coming in, like summer workouts, and just the dog mentality that he got, especially at a big wing, like with his size. That's how he's able to get like 20 rebounds a game. Like I just look up, he got 10 rebounds in 5 minutes. So I kind of knew, I kind of knew that his success was coming. Just that's just Mari, like that's just Mari. So
Yeah, and London Jemison, another talented freshman stepping in as well. And then you got to come in last year with Aden Sherrill. How are you seeing Aden impact the game differently this season?
I would just say confidence. Like last year, I feel like he could do everything that he's capable of doing this year. I would just say his confidence took a big leap this year. Just not having Cliff to kind of play that 5 spot, he knew that he kind of step into a bigger role, and he did that perfectly so far. So and I have none but 100,000% faith that he's gonna do it for the rest of the season. So I just think the role was bigger for him this year, and he just stepped up to the plate and did what he had to do.
We love seeing him lock down the paints and getting dunks and layups right around the rim. But how about when he steps outside and makes 3-pointers?
Yeah, not just taking them. He's shooting like 40 something from 3. It's guard stuff. So as a 7-foot big, he's doing stuff that guards could do. Not just shoot either. Like go catch, like get in the paint, make reads out of the paint. Like he's super talented. And then he's like top 5 in blocks. So it's crazy.
Yeah, has he gotten you sometimes with blocks in practice, anything like that, or you gotten the best of him?
I think he's blocked my shot like twice. Not that many. I promise you, not that many. But he definitely got me like twice for sure.
There you go. That means you're finishing at the rim.
Yeah.
How much fun do you have playing in this offense?
The most fun I've had since I've been in college, for sure. It was a lot of fun last year, but just with my role being a little bigger than it was last year, this year it's been even more fun. So just definitely the most fun I've ever had playing basketball in college, for sure.
Do you enjoy the pace and how quickly you guys go?
Yeah, sometimes it gets tough. Like every day in practices are even harder than the game. So it's tough to, like, you know what I'm saying, adjust to at first, but I love it. I've been playing that way kind of my whole life, fast, just being my size. I got to push the pace, and it's kind of fits my strengths. So it's been super fun for sure.
And so that's on the offensive side. How about the effort and the focus on the defensive side of the ball? We hear about the blue-collar points, blue-collar mentality all the time. How much does that mean to you?
It means a ton. I'm still trying to get another blue-collar hat. Haven't got one since like the first game of the season, so I've just been hungry, itching for that. But it means a ton. Like every time, it kind of works out. Like every time we're winning in the blue-collar, we're probably winning on the scoreboard, and like people don't really think about it, but like it just ends up happening like that every time. So like it's super important, and it's been on our minds every day in practice, every day in games, and we just gotta do a better job doing it consistently. And I think we'll be straight after that once we get that figured out.
Yeah, Nate Oates brings it up. It seems like in every huddle you guys have that he's talking about the blue collar points, and this is good, this is not so good. I mean, that's got to keep you motivated throughout the game.
Definitely, for sure.
So this is your second year at Alabama. Let's go back to the beginning of your basketball journey. What got into the sport growing up?
I would say my brother kind of got me into the sport, but I kind of just liked basketball since I was born. And then once I was able to once I was old enough to like go to his games and see and actually understand it, and it would just, I don't know, I would just love being at his games. And then after we would leave from his games, I would want to be in the game so bad I would just do my own game at home. So I guess I just kind of loved it since I was born, just naturally. I don't know, and it just stuck with me till every day, even now. So yeah.
Did your family have a hard time getting you away from the basket? I mean, were you always just shooting at home?
Yeah, always driven. We had a little mini Fisher Price hoop, nonstop on there. I don't know. I just kind of just been with it since I was a baby.
And speaking of your family as well, tell us about your grandfather and the football career he had.
That's my dog. He was a legend. Different fields, but it's a lot of stuff that I can take from him. Just his professional approach every day, and he's super funny, so he's crazy too. But that's my dog.
Yeah, great career. At Michigan, then the Canadian Football League for a long time, and then you have dual citizenship between America and Canada. How meaningful is that to you?
Super meaningful. I was able to go play with Canada basketball this summer, which was my first time doing it. I did like a few workouts with them before, but this summer was my first time actually putting on a real jersey and playing in a real game. So that was definitely a blessing. It was a great feeling.
Is that something you want to continue down the road, maybe be in the Olympics one
hmm
day?
Yep, I want to definitely continue, especially just getting that first real connection this summer with some of the players, some of the staff. Definitely something I look forward to going back and doing for sure.
We look forward to watching that. And then as you're growing up in the sport, your profile really rises in high school. What led to success for you? You feel like during some of those high school years to become one, 5-star recruit, McDonald's All-American?
Um, I would have to say the people that helped me, my support system, my mom, my brother, my sister, who's a great athlete at Michigan right now. Just them, just giving me good energy every day. Like I don't know, it was just good, genuine energy, and then that allowed me to put that on the other people that I would see in the real world. So like I would just say my support system, my coaches, and then work, of course. But it's not just work. You gotta be a good person with it too. So I would just give a lot of credit to my support system.
And then really at all levels there, you're surrounded by really good players. I imagine you're seeing
Oh
them once
yeah.
again as you play high-level basketball here.
Mhm. I had to play with a lot of great players in high school. Might not know some of them, but like so many. I could name like so many. So I don't even want to just do that and forget people. But I played with so many great players in high school.
So that got you ready to go to college basketball. I had one season at Auburn. What was the transition like starting to play college basketball? Led to good results. You were a member of the all-freshman team in the SEC.
That's crazy. I don't even know how I made that, but uh, I feel like it was obviously a tough transition for me, especially my first year. I started out the year playing pretty good, having some good games, winning some games, but obviously it's not about just a few games. It's about putting the whole season together, and I wasn't able to do that due to some circumstances. My fault, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I made the switch here, and I feel like that really helped me just put together a full season, and I'm just trying to get better each season. So
Yeah, and when you went in the transfer portal, what were you kind of looking for, and then how did Alabama kind of answer and meet what you needed?
I was just looking for a play style that kind of fit me better. Auburn's a really good team, good offense, winning program over the history, but it just didn't really fit me, and I feel like Alabama fits me a lot better, and that's really all it's about, just fit and getting comfortable and just being able to be you.
What was it like getting to know Coach Oates for the first time and some members of his staff as well when they're in the recruiting process, then getting to coach you here?
Oats, it's been great. It's been great getting to know him just because he's the same as he was during the recruiting process. Like he didn't say something that I would get and I didn't get. He didn't try to spin it or he didn't try to like. He just told me exactly what it was, and I just had to just respect it, and that's all I'm really asking for is just respect and just honesty and where we were going, and he did that in the recruiting process, and he does it every day. So I just gotta respect him.
What are the games that stand out from last year most special to you?
Um, Texas A&M on the road, that was a great team win. The Houston game, great game. What else?
Going to Auburn, pretty special.
Yeah, game winner from Mark. That was crazy. What else? There's more. SEC tournament was tough. I like that first game that we had versus Kentucky. Um, it's a lot more. I just can't really.
Yeah, you mentioned Mark Sears. What'd you learn getting to play with him?
Uh, I would say just his professional approach. Like he was cool off the court, but then like on the court, it was not no games really. Like it was just really all business, and I would say that's what I really picked up and seen from him the most. And then when you get on the court, you see what he do. So I would just say his approach, like once he step on the court, once he step on them lines, yeah.
And we heard stories all the time about him shooting at crazy hours at Coleman and the practice gym. When you hear that too, as one of your teammates, does that motivate you even more to get in those extra shots?
For sure. Especially because you see like his results, like he shoots super good. So like if you see him shooting that good in a team setting, and then you're knowing how he does it of course you're gonna want to try to do it yourself. So
It's led to some really good things for you this season for Alabama. Again, we're talking about midway through SEC play. What's going to be most important for this team over the next few weeks? What do you guys got to focus on in order to play winning basketball?
Honestly, I would just say staying healthy, man. We've been having a lot of guys banged up, a lot of guys having to be out, miss some games. So I would just say doing our best to stay healthy, and we should be good if we do that.
Do you love playing at home here at Coleman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I love playing here at Coleman, but I also love road games too. Like, I think it might be like even. I think it's even. So I don't know if I love it more. Obviously, I love our fans the most in the country, but it's just like something about that going on the road, being able to see their fans leave early and they're loud the whole game. Now they want to be quiet. Like, it's just something about that. So I'll say it's 50-50.
I can definitely see that. Yeah, and I mentioned a couple of cool places we played: Chicago, New York, Las Vegas. I mean, there's so many Alabama fans travel to those games. They're not even necessarily traveling. Maybe they live in those cities, get to see you guys play. But when you're in those road environments and you do see some Crimson, that's got to be awesome.
That is a great feeling, especially when we go on a little run. Everybody else is quiet, but you can hear our fans. Like, that's a great feeling for sure.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we're really excited for what's ahead for you, Aden, the rest of the season. Just thank you for the time you've given us today, and best of luck. Roll Tide.
Thank you so much. Roll Tide.
Fans, there's no better way to experience Alabama basketball than with our live basketball booth cams presented by NASCAR. Streaming live during all Alabama men's and women's basketball home games this season, you'll get a front row seat to all the great reactions from our radio crew as the big plays happen for the Crimson Tide. Make sure you follow us on all your favorite social media platforms at UA_CTSN, especially subscribe on YouTube. That way you won't miss a single basketball booth cam this season. Again, presented by NASCAR for all Alabama men's and women's basketball home games this year.
Go Holloway, a deep three, bottom. Mercy from 30 feet out, dead on. Holloway with 25, and Bama leads it by 14.
Later on this week, we can't wait for the start of Crimson Tide softball season. And last week's edition of Hey Coach and the Nate Oats Show at Baumhower's, it was Patrick Murphy joining Chris Stewart on stage at Baumhower's to talk about the start of softball season as he gears up for team number 30 of Alabama softball. So much excitement building up. Marley Giles was on the show as well, talking about what's ahead for the Crimson Tide softball team. So as we get ready for the softball season opener later in the week, we have a Hey Coach replay with Patrick Murphy.
Right now, we are very pleased to welcome in the head coach of Alabama softball, our friend Patrick Murphy. Murph, always great to see you. Appreciate the time.
Man, what a great crowd tonight. Thanks for everybody. I've got one of my favorite families of all time, from Tuscaloosa, Northport. The Williams family used to be my neighbors. They're all here. I have almost my entire staff the next table over, and I have a table of managers who are the best in the world right over here.
So you brought the crowd. Man's got his own entourage.
Maybe. And then yesterday we practiced inside at the football, indoor facility. And I was walking in. There was a young man booming kicks all by himself. And I had noticed that Alabama football signed a young man from Ireland. Did you guys see that?
Top of the morning to you.
Yes, and Patrick Stacey Murphy had to meet the kid from Ireland.
Yeah, I understand. That makes sense.
I go up to the kid, and I was praying that it was him because I didn't know. And I said, would you happen to be from Ireland? And he said, yes. And I said, thank God. I'm your new #1 fan. So all the staff went over to say hi to him. And I'm telling you, the ball off his foot was amazing. He was hitting 52 plus, I think he's 60-yarder he hit with ease. So his name is Lorcan Quinn, if anybody wants to know, but seemed like a really nice kid.
That's a prime example right there of why we call you the best teammate on campus, among the reasons why we call you the best teammate on the University of Alabama campus, but also maybe the biggest Alabama fan there is as well, because you do love everything Bama, and obviously your program is phenomenal. But you keep such an eye on what else is going on around the campus. But also a very, very important thing that in this day and age with transfer portal, NIL, all of the, frankly, negative things that are discussed about college athletics by outsiders, for people like yourself, the main thing is still the main thing. And in the classroom, your young ladies have gotten it done in the fall. to make sure they're ready to go here in the winter and spring.
Yeah, and I say all the time, I'm sure somebody out there knows this, but young ladies outlive men 12 to 15 years. So sorry, guys, it's going to happen.
I got a philosophy on that, but I'll keep it to myself.
Okay, so they're with us for 4 years.
Got it.
Maybe some 5. COVID, Montana, Jenna Johnson. But for 4 years, they're a intercollegiate athletic at the University of Alabama. So we need to teach them life skills because they're going to be around for 70 years at least. So we want them to be great people in the community, wife, partner, mom, grandmother, eventually down the road. And if we emphasize the academic part of it in their career, we're doing them a disservice. And I don't care what sport.
Right.
Because there's not that many guys that make the NFL. And Mr. Houston Millett, I've heard nothing but great things about him. I can't wait to meet him.
Better than advertised, by the way.
Great kid. I've heard nothing but just awesome things. But they had a 3.7888 team GPA. It was the highest we've ever had in our history. And we had 11 of the 21 young ladies get 4.0s, which is unbelievable. I've never had a 4.0 in school. So
collectively, I did for 3 semesters.
Yeah, but, me too. Yes. Okay. But Marley was one of those, and she has like a 3.97 something GPA. Just incredible students, and then also really good athletes.
Great stuff. Let's talk about your season, which again, it's below freezing, so that means that softball's right here. And you do start next week, Thursday in Atlanta, the Buzz Classic at Georgia Tech. You got Villanova, Georgia Tech, East Carolina. 5 games over the course of what, 3 days, 4 days?
Yes, sir. 3 days. We might be the opening game of college softball because we start at 3 Eastern on Thursday.
Right.
So we play 1 Thursday, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday. And you remember John Gilbert?
Oh, yeah, real well. East Carolina's AD.
Yep, he's the AD at East Carolina, so we'll play them. And Georgia Tech and us have had this pretty good rivalry for the last couple of years. They're coming to us next year, which is a good thing, so we can keep that. They're a really good softball program. Won games in regionals last year. We really like their staff, and it's an easy drive. It's 3 hours to Atlanta. So we're going to keep that rivalry going.
Fantastic. But for those that aren't able to get to Atlanta, you are going to be at home here really soon. You got the Easton Bama Bash coming up that following week. It's mid-February, the 13th through the 15th. Same time baseball opens up, or the same weekend that baseball opens up. So back at home for that one, which is always big.
Joy Grace Webb, our marketing young lady, baseball, softball, I believe gymnastics, I think men's and women's basketball as well, all at home. So if you're a fan that haven't been to Tuscaloosa, you could make it a almost a 4-sport weekend. So it's going to be jam-packed, and every facility is going to be going.
The voice of Bama softball, Tom Canterbury, with the call there on the Crimson Tide. We welcome you back to Hey Coach, presented by Alpha Insurance. He was describing a play by senior catcher for the Crimson Tide, and Coach Patrick Murphy will let you handle the formal introduction of the young lady that joins us on stage.
So a great young lady, a senior this year. We have 4 four-year players, which is very awesome to hear. Marley is one of them. She was a catcher from the state of Alabama, obviously, and we really wanted her. Great family, and they're over there against the wall, mom, dad, and brother. But a great young lady and a great representative of the University of Alabama, Marley Giles from Clanton, Alabama.
Question number 1, did you bring peach ice cream for everybody? Because I've stopped. My car automatically stops when I get to the Chilton County exit. Mm-hmm. Got to stop at one of the peach parks. And
That's right. It is the best ice cream in America.
It is. It is really good. It is really good. And you get asked about more stuff than that. But let's talk about the softball piece of it. For you to be able to play in your home state for what is one of, obviously, year in and year out, one of the best programs in America. Tell me how special for a Bama girl to get to play for the Tide.
I mean, it's really hard to put into words how much it means to me. I mean, as a kid, I grew up going to the games all the time. I mean, our whole travel ball team and all-star team, that we'd always go to the softball camps and, meet Coach Murphy. And it was just a dream come true just to be able to be on the field and to see the facilities and to actually live out that dream and be able to play on that diamond is just something really special.
Coach, I know it's part about growing your sport and growing awareness for your program when you when you host those camps, but it's also a chance to see early kids that may have a chance to play. And I know it's a very small percentage that do wind up wearing the Bama uniform, but I've got a feeling you kind of have an eye pretty quick on okay, we're gonna follow this one.
I think 2 years ago I counted. They were standing up to introduce themselves at a function, and I think it was 11 of the 21 at the time had come to a camp.
Yeah.
So that number is bigger than what you think.
Right.
And, one of the cool things we try to do, we can't do it all the time, but if the schedule works and, we're heading that way, we got to go to Marley's house last year, right?
Yes, sir.
And I think it was spring break. We were headed down to South Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And her family, everybody in town went to their house, had a great meal. It was incredible. And tell them afterwards when we went by the school.
So Murph and I talked to Jaden and Murph, and they were able to drive by our school, and actually Murph stopped by our elementary school. All the kids had came outside and had signs for Alabama softball, and they were just so excited that just the buses would be going by. And sure enough, good old Murph saw the kids and pulled over and went down and took pictures with them, met all of them, and it just made, I'm sure, every single one of them's year, and they'll remember that for the rest of their lives.
I can only imagine, but I remember 4 or 5 years old watching the Alabama football team buses drive past my house in Fairfield on the way to Legion Field to play games. So, again, when you know the tide is rolling in or rolling through, but to have the tide stop, that is incredible.
I mean, I think the whole town knew we were there, which is a good thing.
We had a police escort, I think.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we did.
That's fantastic. Let's talk a little bit more, Coach, about your team. 13 returners on the squad, 6 freshmen, couple of transfers. Tell me from the spring what you've seen. And it sounds so strange to call it spring, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
What you've seen from this squad.
So first thing, I hope that everybody in this restaurant has come to a game, but if you haven't, this is the year you need to come. It's the 30th anniversary. It's a big, big year for us. And we have, I think, the best collection of athletes we've ever had, all over the field. A catcher is a green light girl, which is if she gets to first base, she has the green light to steal at any time, which really doesn't happen.
Sure.
But we have 11 of those green light girls, over half the team. Very, very, very fast. Michelle Diltz, our strength coach, did a great job this fall. And, Salem Hawkins is somewhere over there in the crowd, and she is also a green light girl. So athletes everywhere. And yesterday when we were indoors at football, we rotate on the infield. I hit 5 ground balls and everybody rotates. Well, there's like 3 or 4 girls that went to all 4 positions in the infield, and they were fine with it.
Right.
Athletic-wise, arm-wise, range, glove, the whole thing. We're 2 deep at every position for sure. We have 5 pitchers, 6 freshmen, 2 kids we got in the portal, and Chris, who we were really, really lucky with the portal. 1 young lady is a transfer from Iowa, Jenny Young. She's going to be second base, throws right, hits left, green light girl. And then another one was a freshman at Houston that set every record as a Houston as a hitter. Will be a sophomore for us, but Brooke Wells is her name, first base, third base. But when she hits the ball,
it's hard.
The ball comes. Yes, it's like
hard.
It's like Lorcan kicking footballs in the indoor facility. It sounds different off her bat.
So
and we're hoping that both of them can give us a lot of production. The 6 freshmen, I think everybody believes in them. Obviously, when you have a senior catcher, that's a big deal too.
Marley, I want to ask you about one of your teammates, sophomore in Audrey Vandegrift, getting a lot of preseason love. USA Softball's Player of the Year watch list, All-American last year as a freshman. I randomly said, hey, I want to ask you about this young lady, and you tell me she's one of your roommates, so you can talk to us about her better than anybody. Tell us about this young lady.
I will say that she deserves all the accolades that she's gotten preseason, if not more. I mean, she was just an absolute fireball for our team last season, and her mindset coming in was she just wanted to help the team no matter what it was. She didn't expect to be a starter. She didn't expect to be the top freshman in the country. She just wanted to, if that was being in the dugout and cheering on her teammates, she was ready to do that. And I know that this season she's just so excited to be able to lead us again, and I know she will. And she's just been working so hard on and off the field, and especially in the weight room, she just loves to lift weights and loves to get stronger and get faster. And it's really been a pleasure to get to know her. And I'm just so thankful for my relationship with her and being able to know her these past 2 years.
Coach, real quick, Thursday again in Atlanta. Next week, not this week, but next Thursday, the Buzz Classic. Georgia Tech, couple of games, same with Villanova and East Carolina. And then you're back home Valentine's weekend, 13th, 14th, 15th. You got the Easton Bama Bash. From those first 2 weeks, besides a ton of wins, what are you looking for?
Just to get everybody out there, get the jitters out. You know, they're going to have an Alabama uniform on for the first time, 8 of them. So we need to, play into that excitement. Hopefully all the butterflies, because they will have butterflies, but hopefully they'll be flying in the same direction. And we have 5 pitchers that, Lance McMahon does a hell of a job with them. And I think every single one of them improved this fall, but they haven't played like a Division I game yet.
Right.
So that's what I'm really looking forward to, because, again, senior catcher, unproven pitching staff, that's what you want, if you're going to have those two. And this hopefully they will show everybody what they're capable of, because at times in practices, every one of them has been unhittable.
Great stuff. Always good to see you. Appreciate the time so much. You bragged on her before she got here, but you may have undersold how great she was. Marley, we appreciate the time from you as well. Best of luck this year.
Thanks for having us. You're the best.
Thanks so much.
Thank you,
Marley
guys.
Giles and
Roll
head
Tide.
coach Patrick Murphy for Bama softball.
Hey, it's Aaliyah Nye. This is Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
This isn't just a race, it's the race. 500 miles of glory, a million memories, one place. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. You gotta see it to believe it. Secure your experience now at Daytona500.com.
Here's a Hey Coach replay with Chris Stewart, joined by the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Nate Oats.
We welcome in the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Coach Nate Oats, joining us by phone tonight, as I know the schedules got altered. Coach, appreciate you being on. Thanks so much. And again, I know your team's probably ready to go back to work after a tough one yesterday, a rare Sunday game, and also rare to struggle in the manner in which your squad did against obviously a great Florida team.
Yeah, no, we didn't play well. Obviously, the turnovers killed us. Points off turnover, 25 zips. I don't think I've ever been involved with a game like that. So we had to do a way better job taking care of the ball, do a better job of having everybody ready to go. So, we, go a little longer in video today, started them twice. We usually don't practice the day after the game, but we had to do a little bit. We got to get some work done. So it was disappointing to go from that Missouri game where we had 19 assists, 7 turnovers to, playing Florida where we ended up with 18 turnovers. So we've got to take care of the ball better. I didn't think we were bad. The first 10 minutes of that game, we were pretty locked in. And as soon as we started turning it over, it's just damn kind of broke. And I thought we kind of, lost heart a little bit and didn't give the same effort on defense once we started turning the ball over either.
Coach, as you went back and watched the film, tell me what you attribute that to, if you can. I mean, Florida's very good defensively, but what did you see from your squad that's got to be cleaned up in order to play at the level and the standards you're accustomed to?
Yeah, I mean, we got to handle their physicality better, and we got to have better switch attacks. I also think we need to play faster. Most of our turnovers came when we played too slow. Let the defense get set, let them get into us, let the physicality take over. If we did, played faster, pushed the ball off the floor, attack before they were set, I think we would have eliminated some of the turnovers. And when they were back and they were switching pick and rolls, we didn't do a great job with our switch attacks. It's a little disappointing because we spent all offseason working on that. And I thought, this is a team that really didn't switch people. At least nobody liked the whole game. They pretty much switched just the whole game. And we've had games like that before where, the amount of threes we take and how much we attack off the dribble and create advantages. Like St. John's doesn't really switch 1 through 5 the whole game. They did against us, and we did a really good job, sorting it out and attacking it, even if we didn't expect it. And I didn't think we did nearly as good a job in this game, converting to a switch attack on offense. We did an awful job, to be honest with you.
Coach, it's been I know a challenge trying to figure out the rotation, trying to find the mix that you want for your squad. You've been able to score a good bit offensively, but talk about how the uncertainty from week to week on who's going to be available, how that impacts defense more so than the offensive end with this group?
Yeah, you got to have some chemistry. You got to know, who's switching, who's not, who you can switch with, where the help's going to come from, who you can put on what type of player. I mean, it's just all. We've had the most starting lineups I've ever had in the season. We're not even barely to the halfway point. Hopefully, depending on how postseason goes, we've got over 15 games yet to play. And it's hard to develop chemistry, and it's not just that they're not playing the games together; they're not practicing together. Some of the guys are getting ready to play in the game after they haven't practiced all week. So it's been a bad year for injuries. We just seem to catch random ones. I know Clark's the best trainer in the business and doing everything he possibly can. We had Taylor up in Birmingham today, and he's going to be day to day. But yeah, he was playing really well, and then he wasn't even able to play 2 minutes in the game. So, that's obviously a little frustrating, but it's sports. It happens. You can't make excuses. You got to figure out which guys putting on the floor that can get you a win. And we've got depth for a reason, and we need guys to be able to step up and make plays for us.
Amari Allen's one of those guys, Coach, that's battled the injuries and battled through them, and you got him back and was able to play a lot of minutes the other day. But you could tell he wasn't quite in the same rhythm because, like you referenced, he hadn't been able to practice quite as much. Tell us how he's doing today after going through the game and the strain of yesterday, and how he obviously factors heavily into the plans going forward.
Yeah, we didn't do a whole lot in practice today, but he looked better. I mean, he's got to get back to playing. It's hard when you haven't practiced for about 3 weeks. He made some, he missed some shots that normally would have made. I would have hoped he missed some reads at the rim that normally would have had better. It's just he's a little rusty. He had 3 turnovers himself, and we had a lot of the guards contributed to turnovers. Barron, Biz, him, all of them really.
Coach Nate Oats joining us here by phone as we're at Baumhauer's Victory Grill for, hey, Coach, the schedule got thrown off a little bit tonight as he's kind enough to take some time away from practice and join us here on phone. Coach, I want to take just a second to talk about the future. You picked up a huge recruit that was announced in the last couple of days. I think it's pronounced Quaden Samuels for the 2026 class, a pickup that obviously you're very, very excited about.
No, very excited. He's a really good player. He's got size, more guard, wing, whatever you want to call. He's a basketball player. I mean, he can basketball, shoot, can score to the high level, one of the best scorers in high school basketball. Got good size where, switchable on defense, can rebound. I love the kid. I watched some of the impressed and fell in love with him. He's one of our favorite players in the entire class. I think he's got a chance to be really good in our system. He'll be able to rebound and bring the ball up the floor. He'll play with, you'd like to get those versatile guards that you can play, all different. You can play a bunch of them together. They put them on the floor. They got size. They can handle. They shoot. He shoots it really well. So we're super excited about him. Plays in a really high level high school basketball there in the DMV area. Played high level. Played in EYBL. Was one of the best EYBL this summer.
Coach, given the landscape of recruiting these days with transfer portal, everything that's factored in now, how do you perceive high school recruiting or the recruiting of high school players, and where does that fall for you? What specifically are you looking for in them when it comes to – and how many, I guess, now are you looking to on an average year?
Yeah, that's a good question. We haven't set a specific number per se. It's basically said, they either have to be able to contribute right away and be impactful, which we think Caden will be. And, we also have Tars. He's having a senior year, too. So the guys that we're going after hard have to be able to contribute right away, or everybody in their camp has to understand it's a developmental deal where it's going to be a couple years, because you don't want to bring a guy and expect him to play. He doesn't play. He just transfers. That's kind of pointless. So,
right.
But the transfer portal, you can transfer and play right away. Back when we had Brandon, Clowney, and Jaden, and we started 3 freshmen, and we were one team in the country. Duke started, I think, at least 3 freshmen last year. Two of them just had 49 and 34, I believe, playing against each other on Thursday. And then they had Malawak, and they were the best team in the country. They didn't win it last year, but they a lot of people had it as the best team in the country. I still think if you get the right guys, you can win with freshmen in college basketball. Now, we'll see where all the rulings go. You're going to be able to continue to bring in 23-year-old freshmen with 4 years of eligibility that have played 4 or 5 years of professional ball in Europe. If you can do that, and all of a sudden you're trying to play 25, 26, 27-year-olds every night, you're going to have to maybe rethink some stuff. But no, we're going to continue to recruit great freshmen. We've done well with them and win at a high level with them.
Hey guys, this is Jalen Moreau, and you're watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
Hey, Coach, and the Nate Oats Show, presented by Alpha Insurance, always starts our week of programming here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Let's take a look, and for the first time, softball's coming up on our upcoming schedule. Well, coming up later this week on Wednesday night, Alabama against Texas A&M for men's basketball. 5 o'clock will be our airtime across the network, the Varsity Network app, and don't forget the basketball booth cam will be streaming live, presented by NASCAR on all of our CTSN social media platforms. Same can be said for Wednesday or Thursday night's women's basketball game against Ole Miss that will have a 7:45 start time, but earlier in the day, we'll be busy at 2 o'clock with another episode of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, and then Alabama softball will start its 2026 season against Villanova in Atlanta. That'll be a 2 p.m. start time for Alabama softball on Thursday in the season opener. And then on Friday, 2 softball games. First against East Carolina at 12:30 p.m. on Friday, 5 o'clock against the host of the tournament, Georgia Tech, coming up as well. And then on Saturday, softball will have 2 more games against Villanova and Georgia Tech to round out play in its season opening tournament in Atlanta. Also coming up on Saturday, it'll be men's basketball against the Auburn Tigers, and that'll be either a 2 o'clock or 2:30 start time as they make their final television designation. And then on Sunday, we'll have women's basketball, Alabama against Texas A&M on the road in Bryan College Station, starting at 4:45 for our coverage there. And then next Monday, we'll be right back at it with Hey Coach and the Nate Oats Show, and we'll be talking more baseball coming up on next week's upcoming schedule. Make sure you follow us at UA_CTSN for the very latest on Crimson Tide Athletics, and so you won't miss anything coming up here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, especially if watching on YouTube. Hit subscribe and turn those notifications on. That's going to wrap up this edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Huge thank you to our guest today, Aden Holloway, in studio with us here at the LLH Healthcare Advantage Center in our podcast studio. We thank him. We thank Ethan Karabin, our video producer, not only producing that interview, but the Hey Coach shows that you saw as well. And he'll be producing our basketball booth cams presented by NASCAR coming up later in the week. We appreciate Ethan and all of his hard work. As we say goodbye on this Tuesday afternoon, we'll let Chris Stewart and Nate Oats have the final word of the night from last night's Hey Coach and the Nate Oats Show. The final word always presented by McCurry Van and Car Rental as we say goodbye to this Tuesday Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover saying take it away, Nate Oats, Chris Stewart.
The opponent that will come to Coleman Coliseum on Wednesday, it's the top team in the standings in the SEC as Bucky McMillan and Texas A&M come to town for a 6 o'clock tip.
Yeah, Bucky's done a really good job. He come in, put a system in that nobody else is really playing. He plays fast, up-tempo like we do on offense, but he's got the pressing on defense. I think he's caught some people off guard. They play hard at shooting on the floor. They keep the floor spread. They're good. I mean, shoot, they're 3 games out of us right now in SEC Stadium in a week. Good or not, we got to play well. So they're going to be a tough team to play well against because they play so hard. So we got to get back to where we're playing hard, trying to be the hardest playing team on the floor, where we take care of the ball, make unselfish decisions with the ball, because they're going to put you in all kinds of spots. We're going to have to put decisions with the ball, and if we're do it too long and making the wrong decision, it's going to be turnovers. And we just had 18 turnovers. So, game, we got to take care of the ball. They turn people a lot. It'll be a fun game. Both teams want to get up and down. And it'll be, fast-paced. We're going to have to be ready to go.
Coach, always appreciate the time. Thanks so much, and we will see you on Wednesday night.
All right. Thanks. Wednesday. Appreciate you guys.